Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy, the Problem Child, with another video today. Um, and this just basically goes out to all the people that's wrestling fans and also the wrestling promoters and wrestling opinionists and also the wrestling writers, bookers, Vince, Triple H, all you guys. We can criticize movies. We can criticize TV shows like, say, Two and a Half Men. We can criticize reality shows. We can criticize and be critics about what you call it, and just about anything, sports teams, um, just basically anything. Video games. We criticize video games because we're naturally, that's the thing. Human beings are natural critics about things, good or bad, and we just feel like we have an opinion about it. But now all of a sudden, when we criticize wrestling, it's like hold the microphone. We are not allowed to criticize wrestling no matter what they do, good or bad. It's always have to be us saying, well, we accept that. In my opinion, that was great. That was great. Even though they rehashed something, it was still fantastic. Even though they did a gimmick, the same gimmick, because most of us was alive in 1984 and most of us was alive in 1998. We seen that already as longtime wrestling fans. So we already know what was going to happen. We even go ahead and criticize religion. Most people criticizes other people's religion, criticize their own religion. But as soon as we criticize wrestling, all of a sudden we're looked at as geeks, nerds, douchebags, idiots, morons, because we have an opinion about something. And by the way, I'm a Star Wars fan, and people love Star Wars, love it to death. And Star Wars fans criticize Star Wars and George Lucas to death. To death. Sometimes George Lucas listens to them, sometimes he doesn't. Which he has that choice because it is his movies, and sometimes he does listen because he do want people to keep buying the product and keep buying the characters and so on. But as soon as we say, oh, this pay-per-view sucks, or why are we pushing this guy, or why is that happening, or why is it that WWE not pushing this guy, or why is it that TNA took the belt off of this guy and gave it to this guy and then took it off of this guy in a week, all of a sudden we're considered as nobody's, douchebags, this, that. We don't know what we're talking about because we never stepped foot in the ring. We're just a bunch of unsatisfied customers. We're just a bunch of people that love to gripe and moan and bitch and complain. Oh, it is so ridiculous with wrestling. It's unbelievable. You know what I mean? It's truly unbelievable. And I mean, it is so disgusting that as fans, we get treated the way we get treated by something that we love. And it just makes you question, why in the hell are we fans of this product, of this thing that we do know is scripted, we do know is fake, just like a TV show, just like the movies, we know it's scripted. But yet we make podcasts about this thing. We make YouTube videos on it. We do blogs about it. We do Twitter tweets about it. We do Facebook pages dedicated to the wrestling business. We got Hall of Fame monuments for a business that we know is scripted, and it depends on who you know in the business and how they feel about you in the back because of the backstage politics. Yet we love this business so much that we criticize it when they do bad things. We praise it when they do good things. We criticize it in some parts, and I'm not gonna lie, when they do good things. But it's so ridiculous the time and the effort that we put in. We buy merchandise and everything. But as long as we're buying the merchandise and we're doing this and that, we're okay fans. We're good fans. But as soon as Eric Bischoff and Dixie Carter and Hulk Hogan does something stupid, oh, we're the 10%ers because we go online and blah blah blah. When basically this is 2011. If you're not online, you're living in a cave somewhere, or you're homeless. You know what I mean? Or you just don't, or you live in a third world country that doesn't have internet access or something like that, or you're living on a desert island and you don't even know what the hell wrestling is anyway. And you know what? It gets me. I'm so tired of it. I really am. I'm just tired of the things that wrestling is doing. And I'm so sick and I'm so tired of just being the bad guy all the time and being so bad because if I criticize a movie, you know what movie critics and directors do? They read the critics so that way they can understand what to do the next time they make a movie if they get another chance, or what they can do to fix things, or if they do a part two, or and in TV shows, if you criticize a sitcom, they go ahead and say, writers, it's not working, the ratings are down. We need to find something. Do we need to add a catchphrase? Do we need to do this? Sports, if they hear fans booing the quarterback, like in Denver, they booed Orton and they put in Tim Tebow. They put in the guy Tim Tebow. They got frustrated. People in Minnesota was getting frustrated with Donovan McNabb, so they put in a new quarterback. But not wrestling. No, no, no. You booed John Cena all year long, and just because a little small percentage of people like John Cena, we're gonna keep him in. We're not gonna listen to the critics because the critics never step foot in a ring. We're not gonna listen to these guys because they don't know what they're talking about. Even though they are your consumers and they buy the product and they look at the product and they just want a better product. But yet, we're considered the bad guys and the evil people because we criticize and we dedicate our lives to something, and we're made fun of by wrestling people who do it for a living because we make videos and blogs and podcasts all about wrestling, and we're criticized for it. And it's pathetic. It's pathetic that these people are making fun of their consumers and making fun of the people that buy their product just because they don't like what's going on. And we're being made fun of and looked at as dorks and geeks and losers and jackasses and jerks. And we don't pay attention to the internet fans because the internet fans are douchebags. And only the 10%ers, they don't know what they like in the business because they never step foot or worked in the business. Hulk Hogan doesn't have to advertise anything like TNA because when he goes on other shows, they only want the network he's going on is only wanting him to represent one thing, and that is midget wrestling. But the 10%ers don't know what they're talking about. You know what, Eric Bischoff? The 10%ers maybe don't know what they're talking about, but you know what? The 10%ers never sunk $37 million of money down the toilet before. The 37%ers never basically put a company on the brink of bankruptcy and then hauled ass and then came back and said, I can fix it. And then it still was going down the tubes and then hauled ass before he can be a part of that sinking ship. The 10%ers never did that. Another thing I want to talk about is WWE And well, basically Vince McMahon, you know, Vince McMahon is upset with everybody. I guess the cat, the dog, the rat, the mouse. The cow that jumped over the moon. Just because we criticize and we talk about the internet and we say, yo, Vince, what the hell is the booking that you're doing? Or, oh, we read the spoilers, so we're looking forward to it. So you go ahead and say, I don't want that one. Let's change it my way and bully the writers because they have been well known, documented facts that Vince McMahon bullies his writers and writers are terrified of this man. And you know what? I guess you would be terrified of a boss because you don't want to lose a job, so that's fair enough. But let's be honest with ourselves. To say Vince McMahon is a genius nowadays, it's just so idiotic of us to say. It's not working anymore. You have a company in WWE that at the height was going 7.0s, 8.0s, 9.0s, 6.0s to now going 2.3 and 3.3 and it's so sad, but then again, it's not Vince's fault because the ratings are dropping so terrible. It's Monday Night Football. Even though Monday Night Football has been coming on since when Raw was getting 6.0, 7.0s, 8.0s. Monday Night Raw, oh, it's not. It's the summer vacation. Even though Raw was still getting 6.0s in the summer. Or oh, it's not the pay per view buys. We only got 100,000 buys because people are throwing pay per view parties when people were throwing pay per view parties during the Attitude Era, during 1980s when you first introduced WrestleMania and it was a big hit at the closed circuit things. But again, it's the internet fans being bad critics and not liking this and not liking that. And no matter what we do, when it's not working. Well, that's not true. Everybody was high when CM Punk cut that amazing promo. Everybody was high at the Money in the Bank match because it reminded them of how good wrestling can be. It it made us feel like fans again. Like it made you want to call up your friend and say, "This is why I'm a wrestling fan. You have to see this pay-per-view. I taped it or I bought the DVD, man. You have to look at this. You have to see why I am a wrestling fan." You know, that crowd was about as loud as a college at Money in the Bank was probably as loud as a college football game, as loud as an NFL Super Bowl game. It was rocking. It was rocking out of this world. But at the same time, we're considered bad people because we criticize something. When every day we criticize it. We criticize food. We criticize if somebody brought a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. And this is to the fans that think we shouldn't criticize wrestling, and this is to Eric Bischoff and Vince McMahon and all those guys. Say you went to a nice Italian restaurant. Okay, you brought you and your partner, or your old lady, or say you and your old man or whatever. You did. So say y'all went to a restaurant. Say he took you to a nice Italian restaurant, right? The seating, the seatings is nice and whatever. Okay. So you get a bottle of wine, or just to open up the room, pop the wine. You taste the wine. Okay. The wine is mediocre, but you go, okay, the wine is mediocre, but I'll stick with it. All right. So yeah, you go start off with an appetizer. So you get the appetizer, and the appetizer is like, well, it was an okay start to the meal, but it could have been better. Okay? Then you get your main course. And you taste your main course and you go, "Wow, this is disgusting. I don't like this." You know what I mean? This is horrible. I actually like the appetizer better. And then you go ahead, you put that aside, and then you go ahead and you get your main course. I mean, not your main course, but you get your dessert if you want dessert, if you have room for dessert. And the dessert is a little bit too sugary, very sugary. It's over sweet. I mean, ridiculously sweet. Um, and you criticize it, and then you go, okay, well, I didn't like the dessert at all. It was too sweet. It was just very too sweet, and I really can't stand it. But, whatever. And so the bill comes. You have to pay the bill, of course. It's not one of those restaurants you pay if you like, you pay what you feel. So you pay the bill. And on the thing it says leave a comment. And you feel like, yo, chef, I want to leave a comment to the chef, whatever, to tell him, yo, the appetizer was a good starter. It was a good starter, but I feel like it could have done better. And you put on the main course that you didn't like the main course. The dessert was too sweet. You know what you know what? If 50 people in that restaurant said that, the chef would go, okay, well, maybe it is a little bit too sweet. A lot of people is complaining about this. A lot of people is complaining about the main courses. The main courses is not being a big hit. And these people are saying that if it doesn't get done, they're not going to come back anymore. They're not going to do it. The restaurant will go ahead and tell the chef, the owner of the restaurant, and they will talk to the chef and the sous chefs and the cook, the other people back there that's on the other dishes and stuff, and say, look here, we're getting too many complaints about this, man. It's not working. The Our seats are even being more empty out there because a lot of people is just not liking the food, and we're losing customers and we're losing business. Yes, we're drawing in a couple of bucks. Yes, we're making enough to get by, but it's not working and it's not getting over with the customers, and the customers are not coming back like we want them to come back. You know, the restaurant would try their best. Most restaurants will do a re-grand opening. Most restaurants will do something, add more things to the menu. They would try to get customers back, to revamp them, to change their minds, so that way people go, oh yeah, 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 I remember that restaurant. That restaurant is nice. But not WWE. WWE rehashes the old memories, and then all of a sudden they get upset when we criticize them. And fans that loves WWE to death, and I mean loves WWE to death, act like, well, they're doing so good because the appetizer is pretty good, but even though the main course and the dessert is a little bit too sweet, the appetizer is still nice. The point I'm getting at is just because the beginning of something is good doesn't mean the thing that's supposed to get you full, the thing that's supposed to let you go home happy is not working. And that's why we're up here criticizing. That's why more fans are criticizing than praising WWE. That's why WWE is getting 2.2s, 3.1, 2.9. SmackDown's getting 1.1, 1.9. Because it's not working. It's not working, and we criticize because we care. It's not that we criticizing because we hate the product. We're criticizing because we care about the business. We care about this so-called fake wrestling. We care about this business so much, and it's really painful that we're looked at as a bunch of losers because we criticize the company. How can we be happy when Triple H is always burying somebody and he doesn't put anybody over but his friends? You know what I mean? Or people that Vince told them, look here, bro, you're gonna have to. You think Triple H would have not been happy to bury the Undertaker at um at WrestleMania? You think Triple H wanted to lose? You think Triple H wanted to lose that? No, hell no. It took him 30 minutes to finally tap out of the damn close of the gates of hell. CM Punk and him got the same beating in the middle of the ring, the same amount of beating when that run-in happened, and Triple H still finds a way to pedigree CM Punk in the middle of the ring. And it's not like he pedigreed him on the side or whatever, or pedigreed him or did a cheap shot to him or just hurry up and got him when Diesel, what you call it. hurry up and powerbombed him and he hurry up and covered up. No, he picked them up after he got beat the same way CM Punk got beat, maybe even a little bit worse and a little bit longer. And he still picks CM Punk up and pedigrees him in the middle of the ring for a 1, 2, 3. But yet we're not supposed to criticize that because it still was a good match. And CM Punk all of a sudden says on Raw, "Oh, I never had nothing against you. I don't think you're a doofus." When that was the reason people were starting to watch Raw again, was because CM Punk cut that amazing promo. It was all over the internet. It was all over the thing. People was giving praise outside of wrestling, saying, "Wow, what a great promo. Jim Rome wanted CM Punk on his show." Jim Rome is not the greatest wrestling fan in the world, ladies and gentlemen. And that promo made Jim Rome want to get a wrestler besides Hulk Hogan, which a lot of people say Hulk Hogan is still the number one guy. He wanted somebody else besides Hulk Hogan to talk to his fans and his group of people that deals with sports, to talk about wrestling. And for a chance, people was not criticizing CM Punk. Nobody really had a bad thing to say. Now we criticize the bad parts about it, and we're looked at like idiots. James Storm. When people wonder, how in the hell did you do a switcheroo like that when James Storm didn't even earn the title shot? Yeah, he's been in the company for years, but why? It came out of nowhere. And then you got smirky Eric Bischoff, who sunk again millions and millions of dollars down the tubes in WCW. People got to remember, he only helped WCW last 2 years to beat WWE. 2 years. So 2 years compared to what? How long WWE been in the business? 50 years? And he didn't sink that ship. He didn't sink the ship. So, okay. Congratulations on your 2 years, and WWE still exists now. So thanks a lot, Eric Bischoff. Thanks for your competition that you're doing. And then you get on there and say, well, oh, thank you very much to these fans. It was such a great day to get the 10%ers to look stupid and blah blah blah. You know what? People saying that, oh, I'm still gonna watch wrestling or whatever. Well, guess what? You know what? The way wrestling is going, don't be surprised if wrestling does not fall. You know, everything falls. If you don't believe me, I don't think nobody would have thought WCW fell, and they fell. I don't think nobody would have thought that Woolworths was gonna go down the toilets, and Woolworths is falling tremendously. You know what I mean? Nobody thought that a lot of these big major companies was gonna fall and banks that was gonna fall and they fell. So every dynasty, Rome, and I bet nobody thought the Roman Empire was gonna fall. They thought it was probably gonna be the best thing in the world, and the Roman Empire fell. Why? Because in the end of the Roman Empire, things didn't go right. Nobody thought the British Commonwealth was gonna fall, and it fell. Nobody think empires are gonna fall. WWE is another empire that someday is gonna have to fall because of stupid things like they're doing now. Because they want to criticize fans, they don't listen to nobody. Because the fans don't know what they're talking about. Because Vince says, I know better. I know what you guys want better than you know. Yeah, you probably did, Vince, in 1985. Yes, you probably did in 1996. And can we stop this insensitive thing of saying that, oh, Vince Russo is the reason behind the Attitude Era? Let's be honest with ourselves. Paul Heyman was the reason behind Attitude Era because of WCW, and actually Shane McMahon was actually a big part of the Attitude Era, not Vince Russo, Shane McMahon. And you heard it from me. And if you don't believe me, look at some of the reports about what people say. Vince Russo just had a part of writing because Vince filtered out the bullshit that Vince Russo had. When Vince Russo had full control, WCW happened. When Vince Russo had control, TNA is happening. And what are they getting? 1.1, 1.09, 1.9, 1.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.2, 1.0, 1.3, 1.5, 1.1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.09, 1.08, point. You get the picture. You get the picture. But it's just so tiring. It really is. Because I want and when I get on here and I criticize wrestling, I don't criticize wrestling because I hate the business. I love wrestling. I do. I loved it ever since I was a little kid, man. I always loved the business. I always loved wrestling. I always loved the characters. I always loved the storylines. I loved this business. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't talk about it. I wouldn't get on here and criticize it. I don't think you get on here and criticize something that you don't care about. If I was going to criticize wrestling and I hated it, I would be like, why are people watching this whole thing when you know it's fake? It's phony. Nobody watches it. UFC is better. No, I would be saying stuff like that, but I'm not on here saying stuff like that. I'm saying WWE, please listen to us. WWE, help us. Help us help you. Help us. Make it better. You know what I mean? I'm not saying go ahead and turn John Cena heel, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying let's see something different now, WWE. John Cena's been at top for what, 6 years now? What, 7 years? Who knows? You know what I mean? When you got like a bunch of guys in the back who's waiting for their opportunity. When you got Triple H, how can you not be mad at a company when Triple H comes out there and say, well, I'll wrestle a broom if I have to. Hell, I wrestled most of you guys and the broom will give me a better match. How is that how can you take up for that? I mean, as a fan of wrestling, how can you take up for Triple H saying something like that to people, to the people in the back? Note that this guy will be a main player when Vince leave the company. He's gonna be the guy in charge. Him and Stephanie, they're gonna be the people in charge. And to say something like that is kind of discouraging when your boss says something like that to you. Because morale in the back goes down, even though it was a work shoot, but it's still kind of like, come on, man, are you serious? The thing in the back, you know what I mean? How dare you? The Broomer give me a better match? But yeah, we're not supposed to criticize that because Triple H stayed for the long haul. Triple H has been what? He's been in the company, and a lot of people say, well, he slept his way to the top. Yeah, you know what? It's kind of true and it's kind of false, okay? You know, Triple H had been with Stephanie McMahon since 1999. When you get married in 2003, do you think he's going to go, well, I'm not. I've been in the wrestling business so long. I don't want nothing to do with the company, Vince. You don't even give me the company. I just let Stephanie run it, and I'll be a full time wrestler. I didn't see that happen. Did anybody else see that happen? No. What happens? He got a nice cushy office, what you call it, in Titan Towers, and he's doing fine for himself in the wrestling business. So to say that he didn't sleep his way to the top, I guess so, but I didn't see him turn down a job and say, no, Vince, I'd just rather be a wrestler and let Stephanie handle the family business. Did he? I don't think so. Yeah, but again, like I said, it's ridiculous that as wrestling fans, we're looked at as a bunch of losers for criticizing this business. And you know what? To be honest with you, I'm looking at videos nowadays and I'm looking at what you call it, and nobody's that excited about wrestling anymore, except for the people that think that wrestling can't do no wrong and everything they do is right. Hey, whatever. But just like I said, you gotta watch out because every empire falls and WWE is so big right now. You can't reach God. You can't reach God. Just like the Tower of Babel, just like the Roman Empire, just like Alexander the Great when he conquered the world, just like Napoleon when he tried to conquer the world, everything falls. And the only reason why they fell was because of stupid decisions. And wrestling is doing the same thing. And wrestling is just gonna be another novelty thing, just like boxing. Um, just like boxing is. Boxing used to be the height of everything, and now it's falling. And just like what's another sport that used to be top and now it's just down. And just like anything else that reached the top because people do stupid decisions and it's falling. So that's all I gotta say about this. I don't care what anybody says to me on this video. You comment below. Please subscribe if you like this video. I didn't feel like doing a tirade about it just because I'm so drained talking about wrestling, criticizing it. I didn't want to criticize it in this video. It's just basically criticizing the people that insults us when we say that this doesn't work. When I don't hear people, movie producers and stuff saying, well, the fans are idiots and blah, blah, blah. Because you know why? Nobody would ever go see his movie again. But for some reason, we're a bunch of idiots and we keep looking at TNA when what you call it, criticize fans for just saying that, well, we didn't like that storyline or we didn't like this or we didn't like that. And Vince McMahon basically saying that, forget you guys, I'm going to do it my way. You either watch it or don't. So there you go. This your boy, the Problem Charles, and I'm out. And basically, have a nice day.